So
That's amazing.
yeah, it is.
That's a new tagline somehow right there about turning
Or shit.
your shit into heat or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny though. All right, so let's jump in here. Want to talk a little bit about the story of roof briquetting and sent you some questions as a guideline there, but just want to make this a conversation because I think it's fascinating kind of what's happened over the past 2.5 years with roof and how much your business has changed and grown. And there's headwinds throughout that, challenges. Certainly, meeting you guys during COVID was probably, I think certainly a blessing for us. And, when we got introduced to you in the spring of 2020, by a friend, you guys were, all the trade shows had ended. The sky's falling chicken little. Everybody's working, remote or, I guess roof was kind of an essential business up there and running around trying to support the manufacturing clients who are customers who are some open, some not open, everything. It was just crazy times. But how long had you been consulting with Roof?
Was it
this spring?
It was a year before then. It's probably a year prior. Roof had been in business, so in the United States, I think 10 or 12 years, probably. And it was a very small company that had the very best product in the markets that it serves. The company existed. If people found Roof or Roof found them maybe via trade show or something, then we'd hook up and they did a fine job, the previous president, Greg, of building a very small company, but it was not something we aggressively tried to go out and proactively market our products. And that's when I was hired as a consultant. And then we put together a plan, myself and Greg, to try to develop the sales and marketing. And much like USDP and the storybook that they use, I believe been in sales my whole life, over 40 years in sales management. I believe sales is a process, okay? And that process is something that's critical. It's as critical as whatever machine or equipment you make, and you have an assembly line. I think the sales process is just as important. Too many companies don't adhere to that. You get a guy that thinks he knows a lot of stuff, and he sells where he sells. And I think we created a sales process, and in that, Greg and his team here had the one best tool that you need for that, and that's a good CRM. And they used it fairly well, but not to the maximum that we could. One of the things that's necessary in that process is to generate leads. If you start leads, you generate them, then you move them through the sales process, through the qualification process, and then you turn that into an opportunity. And then over a certain period of time, for us, long sales cycle, you turn into an order.
Yeah, exactly. That's your funnel. Your funnel is, so where were you guys at with the ability to generate leads? It was all trade shows. It was all introductions, a little bit of shoe leather, calling on people probably, where
we really weren't doing much of anything other than trade shows. We had a adequate maybe web page if somebody found it, okay. And so the first order of business in that is trying to find somebody that could help us develop a website and then utilize that. And that's where I called a mutual friend that we have, you and I, and I asked him if he knows anybody that can help us out to do that. And he highly recommended David in the USDP. So I had contacted you and talked and kind of liked what you were saying. I liked the storybook because we have a story to tell. That's no doubt about Roof. There's a story to be told, and and it has a happy ending in most cases. I mean, the products sell themselves. People, once they get through that story, they're very, very pleased with the results. And I think last year, 34% of our sales were repeat customers. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a testimony to the products that we have, and it worked quite well. And then with the next, big step that we had to learn is what the leads that we were generating through our digital marketing, what to do with them, what to properly do with them. In my work experience, it's too many times the marketing people and the sales people are disconnected. The marketing guy generates the leads. Say, forget that. We don't. That guy doesn't need that. They sit in his drawer and nothing happens.
Right.
It's just so wrong. That's why I believe mostly it's a process. And as I was telling a colleague at dinner last week, I was telling him, "What do you do with your leads?" I said, "Well, he's got some salesperson, okay, that deals with them as he sees fit." I said, "Man, you got to treat leads with more reverence than you do your cash. They're the most important thing that you have. It's just, you just can't, you've got to teach the people what to do with them, and you got to have the proper follow-up, and any tool you need, you have to have and implement and use it accordingly."
Yeah.
Well, and once you do all of that, it's quite simple. It's very simple.
Yeah. I remember, we started off with you guys with, and you probably were kind of skeptical about what we could do, but we started off with digital advertising and being out there. If somebody's, on paid search, if somebody's looking for briquetting or how to recycle metal or how to, take wood product and turn it into briquettes, all that kind of stuff. We started playing with that. But one of the things that came up and it was an experiment of how to do a direct mail piece. So we designed a little postcard and we mailed them out to all the scrap yards, I think, and maybe the recycling plants in Ohio. And then the idea was for the sales team to then call those people directly and say, "Hey, hope you got our, postcard. Want to talk to you about turning some of this scrap and waste into real value for the company." And I remember the team saying, "Yeah, that never happened." The sales team didn't want to make those calls or what have you, and the whole thing just kind of broke down. So that reminded me of, the marketing team is pushing ahead. The sales team is like, "Nah, that's not going to work."
I can't think of anything more important to a company's future than properly generating leads and then qualifying, following up. And if you do that in a process, I can't stress it enough, into a sales process, it really works. I mean, you don't have to have, they call it our business, and we don't want to undercut or say anything bad about our sales guys. I don't think it's not hard to do, okay, if you have that. And too many times people are so afraid of sales or afraid to pick up the phone or afraid to call people because it's a hard thing to do. You start, the cold calling, if you will.
Yeah.
And if you generate the leads and you are trained on how to respond to them, it's quite easy.
Yeah. So we started running ads out there. It's the trade shows aren't running. We got to get eyeballs. We got to do all these things. We got to drive people to the old website, and it was generating some leads. We'd look at the monthly reports, and here's how many people called. Here's how many people filled out the form, and it seemed like while that was going on, I mailed you guys a copy of How to Build a Story Brand, Donald Miller's book, and that whole messaging framework. How did that strike you as a veteran in sales and marketing with Rittal for so many years, coming over to RUF. What was your thoughts on that messaging framework?
As you said, at first I was a bit skeptical about the story, if you will, and how that unfolded, because I was more coming from a company that was in a world-class, well-known, that the name kind of spoke for itself, to somebody that people didn't even know that technology existed, let alone the company. Okay, and as the story progressed, that as you look at and read the book, it was, I liked it. At first, I'm not. At first, I was very skeptical, and I can tell you that book now. I feel like I'm part of Elyria Public Library, because I take that book and I give it out to people, and I make them give it back to me. Maybe I should buy a case of it or something. I've handed that thing.
Valuable. They should have it sign it. Everybody who reads it sign it.
Got a RUF library card.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, the framework, it works, but then it hits all the right buttons for business people and sales and marketing people. But then you got to go off and you got to do it. You got to figure out, okay, well, how the heck do we do this? Where we sell machines that squeeze metal into briquettes. How do we do this, right?
Yeah. And that was the best thing that I feel strongly about it with USDP and the relationship, is they just didn't give us a website. They just didn't give us some leads. They give us the whole package. As I said to you, it's a process, there's a beginning, and there's an end. And that's the same thing with USDP, what they've done for us. The totals package and the full service, and we meet routinely, and it's like they have a desk in our building here. I mean, they know what we do, they know our strengths, they know our weaknesses, and it works really well, really well.
So we I guess it was in early 2021, we started the process. 3 phases to the website redesign: discovery, design, development. We launch it, and then we even come up there. The German side of the company does a pretty good job of generating video content, but you guys didn't have a lot of video content, and you needed a video to go to a virtual trade show. So you had this period of time where you get to present what your company's all about, and we drove up there in the snow. And went to a client or two, customer or two, shot briquettes being made at a big, greasy, dirty plant somewhere outside of Cleveland, and then went over to your place and shot nice, clean machine, making briquettes and the whole thing, and produced this story video, scripted it, voiceover, the whole thing, and it was your trade show piece. And then I don't know how the virtual trade show went, but we used that video on the website too, and had even used it in some advertising. So
I use it quite effectively. I don't sell. I should, but I don't. I use it pretty effectively when I'm recruiting people. Okay, because it tells a good story. Okay, and briquetters, what are you talking about? I mean, how do you? And I can't tell you how many people I enjoy showing and telling them about our company, how it lights people up, because it's amazing. A simple thing that we do is so good for the environment and in the world, because we're taking scrap and turning it, recycling it, if you will, in most cases, turning into extra money for our customers or other revenue stream.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, speak a little bit of that, to the power of video. When you have a product that people really don't understand what it is, how does video help get across exactly what it is you do?
Well, me personally, what I think about that is, I think it's not new technology, but I think it's certainly technology that we use today. And you go back to the pandemic, for example. You used to be able to go out and make sales calls. You'd see people would talk to you, and that's gone, and they're not coming back to that as much either. Okay, it's changed the way you sell and the way you present. And what the video does is, you don't have to have a 6-page letter to send somebody or an email, or hey, check this out. You call the guy, yeah, I'm just going to send you a short video, click on this link, and then he'll go, oh, wow. Video is a great way to communicate today. And as long as you're focused and targeted with that, in my opinion, there's tons of videos. You can go on, on YouTube and find all kinds of videos, but you're out there looking for them, try to find. And that's not what it's about. To me, give them a link, give them a good video that shows you briefly, set the hook for the potential, and once that hook's set, then you call them up and reel it in.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes a while, but the product, the machines, the story, the testimonials you have from other companies, CFOs who get pretty excited about stuff like this, picking the scrap up and making it valuable to the organization. Like you said, it checks the boxes for the environment. So how do you, now you guys are back at trade shows. You're getting leads on the website. There's multiple different advertising campaigns going on. There's email drip campaigns going on. Your sales team is better organized, managing the pipeline and the CRM. What do things look like now with your team? Sales wise and organization wise, process wise.
I mean, we just concluded a record year, okay, and that was breaking the year before's record year, okay, and we're heading into next year with such optimism, and we have we're having capacity issues, and we're increasing capacity of our factories, and we're still short. I mean, so there's very excited about the future. My opinion, or the direction that I see us going, is eventually making the machines here in the United States, which will add more jobs into for sure in the state of Ohio, and our future is very rosy. We're very happy, and with that success, I have a good work team here, and everyone seems to be well motivated, and pushing to increase and sell. And I mean, we hardly ever get orders in the end of the year, December. I think we've had 2 already this week. These are machines they don't cost $20. These are hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? It's good. Our future is good, and we look to continue to grow, and find more people to get after, and more markets with our message. That'll be the challenge. It's amazing. We run tests. We have customers in here every day this week. 6 months ago, if you had 2 customers a month, we're having them every day. Some days we have 2, running material tests in our labs to see how, if they bring their scrap material in, how that performs and what that develops into.
Yeah.
And that's coming strongly off our digital marketing intelligence on the web. What do you call it? Free tests or?
Yeah. So that's been a huge, additional conversion point. Like on the website, we have asked, or talked to a briquetting expert, but taking you up on the free test, where basically they send you a
55-gallon drum
of scrap or wood or whatever, and it's got the liquid in it, and all that, and you guys take it and dump it into the briquetter there. You turn it into briquettes and a couple gallons of liquid, and you send it back to them, and then they hold it in their hand. They go to the CEO or the CFO. It's amazing. So a free briquette test.
Yeah, and that's proven to be super successful. In fact, I may have to hire another person just to help with that, because what's finding out now is we'd like to have our sales guys involved with that, and we do that via video calls and conference, so the customer can see us, processing this scrap. it's good. It's coming there. It's all coming from the digital marketing, the website, and the people see the free tests in your material. And we don't charge. And it's the customer has to pay the freight to get it here, and we'll run the test.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Unbelievable, the applications. I mean, too, I think there was a guy down in Florida that had 4 equestrian barns. And he had, if you have a bunch of horses, and when, what horses do, they eat and and he has this straw and all over the full, the barns and the stables. So he gathered up that, put it in a 1,000-pound gaylord to send that up to us, and we put it in a biomass into a briquetter, and we took that horse shit and hay, turned it into bricks, and then he took it back, and he's running tests and burning it in his ovens to keep his boilers to keep these 4 barns warm, and nights to heat the barns.
Yeah.
And it's working. He's going to buy a machine.
That's amazing. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
That's a new tagline somehow right there about turning your
or shit
your shit into heat or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny though. That's great. That's a great story. Well, I sure do appreciate you working with us and your trust in us over the past couple of years on our team. We enjoyed getting to know you and getting to understand your product and your industry. And although we're not engineers, it's a lot of fun to see you guys grow and take off. So pretty cool.
It's a young company. Yeah, thanks, David. I appreciate that. And we enjoy our relationship with the USDP team. That's the old way of what I was used to was we had an ad agency, and they come over then Tuesday afternoon, and two of them would come over and they'd go into a conference room and you'd take care of whatever you do. No, I don't like that. Yeah, I like that. No, this is a good ad. That's a bad ad. What magazines? And it was not that personal. Now, I think because of our distance and maybe the pandemic, we conference call, we video conference. I mean, with the team that at USDP, I mean, again, John, Courtney, and Nick. I mean, they feel like they're on our team. I feel like they're in the office over there. The next one down from me. It's a good team. It's a good relationship, and it's a good partnership.